Well, how you do, Buckaroos, and happy St. Patrick's Day. So I've got some Bushmill. Last year I had the Bushmills 21. Well, I finished that up last year. Couldn't afford to buy another bottle, but I do have some Bush 16 here, which is darn fine. Actually, for a 16-year-old single malt, I mean, I paid 70 for it. It's pretty reasonable when you compare other single malt whiskeys, Irish single malts or Scotch single malt. Any 16-year-old single malt whiskey for a 16-year-old, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's a darn tasty whiskey too. It really is. Found in County Antrim's rugged coastline. I don't want to read all that. Basically, Bushmill 60-year-old single malt is matured in three different woods. Oloroso sherry and bourbon casks are used for the first 16 years before finishing in port wine barrels. So there you go. Get to the part that was important. I just wanted you to read about the three woods, man. Anyways, I do like this whiskey. And we're just having an ounce and a half neat in my Bushmills glass. I do like this glass. My wife found this a few years ago at a thrift store, I believe. And boy, I just really like it. It's a very heavy glass. If you're here, you can see it's got a really nice bottom line. Just a great glass. I use it for rocks drinking as well. But it's great for neat drinking because it just holds it perfectly. Oh, nice. No, this is very nice. Certainly going to pick up some oak. You're going to pick up some vanilla, but you're going to get notes from the Olorosa and the port wine barrels as well. Going to give you some fruit notes. Going to picking up some plum. Something else here I haven't quite deciphered. Hmm. Oh, damn, that is good. Yeah, I mean, hell, I mean, it's 70 bucks. It's for some people it's cheap whiskey. For me, it's an expensive one. It's all on how you look at it, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I think it is a good value. I mean, if you're a poor person and you can save 70 bucks, I think as far as value goes for a 16-year-old single malt whiskey, I don't know that there's a better value out there for 75 bucks. And you can get a taste preference, what you like. That's a whole other argument. But I'm talking value and quality, and I don't know that you can do better than this particular whiskey for value and quality. Now, if money was no object and I won the lottery, well, that's a whole different topic altogether. But since I'm a since I'm a working man, anyway, this is very nice. So happy St. Patrick's Day to y'all. I hope you all are having a good one. I am doing a corned beef and cabbage. Seamus's favorite dish was cold cannon, which was odd. It was interesting too because we learned about cold. I think we were about five. He was about five when we were watching a Food Network show and they were making some cold cannon. And to be honest with you, Seamus was never crazy about potatoes and especially mashed potatoes. But they made it was a cold cannon. They used cabbage, some other seasonings, and then it used cheese. Well, we like to use the Irish cheese, the Kerrygold cheese, and I think for that particular first batch, we used the Dubliner cheese, which is a little nutty. It's a very nice cheese, and we used that, and he just loved it. And I made it every year up until his last St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, St. Patrick's Day has been very hard on my family, as I've said over and over again, probably ad nauseum to some of you. But my wife and I really try to do something this year. We both decided. My wife hasn't got to where she can bake. She would always do soda bread. She's not going to do that this year. No, she's not. But I am going to do the corned beef and cabbage that Seamus liked. I'm doing the cold cannon, of course. I just mentioned to you. I also decided, kind of last minute off the cuff, that I'm going to do an American version of an Irish stew. It's going to be more American than Irish, but it'll be an Irish stew in spirit, channeling Seamus. I'm using pork instead of lamb. Other than that, I'm going to keep it pretty close, but I am going to take some liberties because that's what I do. But I think a stew I grew up. My heritage was mostly Irish and German. Dad was exactly 50% Irish, 50% German. So I think there's a reason why those cultures meshed because there were so many. Yeah, I mean, they ate a lot of the same way. So I grew up eating a lot of stews, a lot of mashed potatoes. So I just thought I'd do a stew this year. I saw an old post, on social media. They give you the memories, and one back in 2010, I did a Guinness braised pork roast. So I'm not doing that, but that what gave me the idea to do the pork stew again. So anyway, I'm going to do that. Anyway, back to the whiskey. This whiskey is fantastic, man. It really is. 70 bucks again. For me, it's expensive. For some of you, it might not be, but it is worth every penny because again, for the value, find me another single 16-year-old single malt you can buy for about 70, 75 bucks. I can't find one. I mean, it's Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey, American whiskey. Tell me. Anyways, hey, it is what it is. It's a darn fine whiskey. It's very easy to drink. I know Scotch drinkers cringe when you use the word smooth, but I know smooth is also used many times to describe Irish whiskey, which I think is the underlying reason why most Scotch drinkers don't like the word smooth. That's an argument for another day. Well, there was a Scotch whiskey out several years ago, and I don't think it can be found anymore because I haven't seen it in a decade now. But John Mark and Robbo, they were basically blends. They didn't distill them themselves, but they just basically blended Irish whiskeys. They had a few different brands out there, but one of them was the smooth, sweeter one, which was a blend of Scotch and Irish whiskeys. Well, because smooth and sweet is how you describe Irish whiskey. So anyway, that's something else. Some people get wound up over silly ass shit, don't they? This is a very nice whiskey. It really is. Got this right about Christmas, and actually I drank more of it than I thought I. Just shy of half through it at the moment, but I will be more than half by the time St. Patrick's Day is over. So anyway, hey, cheers, y'all! I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. At this particular moment, I have some traditional Guinness items. I typically buy a lot of American or craft Irish inspired. And I did buy some or a couple things, but I decided to revisit a lot of Guinness stuff this year. Partly for tradition, partly because a lot of it was on sale. I picked up this bottle of Guinness Extra Stout because they were $2. Figure for $2, what the hell? I also picked up a 6 pack of Harp Lager, which I haven't revisited in probably over a decade. But it was 6.29 a 6 pack. I also picked up a 6 pack of the Guinness Irish Wheat. It was 6.99. And then I picked up a 4 pack of the Guinness Draft cans. It was 6.99. And then I got a 4 pack of the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, which was only 8.99. Most stores have it for 9.99 or 10.99. So, anyways, I feel pretty good that way. And I don't know. For some reason, I felt like maybe I feel a little nostalgic this year. Who knows? Kind of a mix of moving forward and remembering the past all at the same time. So there you go. There you go. Anyways, beautiful man. I am Ton of Whiskey Whisper, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom. Here, Reverend Whiskey Whisperer, and all around good guy. You all have a good one, man. Cheers.